Welcome to Car Con Carne, episode 707. I'm James Van Osdell, and as I'm recording this on the evening of Thursday the 24th, the news is scary. It's uncomfortable. It's been really rough to watch today. And if anything, I hope this podcast is a nice distraction, a way to dip out from everything, if only for a few minutes. Tomorrow on the podcast, Friday the 25th, Terry from Bronte Fall, that band playing at the Hideout Saturday night, along with Colin Peterick. Next week, the Medieval Torture Museum. Also, I'm hosting one of two benefit nights for Situation Chicago. Those are happening at the Empty Bottle in March. I'll have Situation Chicago organizer Trey Elder on a little bit before that happens. Also next month, it's the return of Local H and a visit to the infamous Wiener Circle. So the economics of the music industry are generally stacked against bands. So when musicians can find a partner that treats them fairly, that's something worth celebrating. Bifocal Media makes band shirts. Super cool, limited run, gotta have them, band shirts. And they're partnerships with the artists, and the artists split the revenues with Bifocal 50-50. Charles Cardello is the founder of Bifocal Media, bifocalmedia.com, and he joins us tonight. Charles, we hear it all the time. Bands used to make money from their music, but that's not the way it works anymore. It's all about the merch. So based on that, having a strong merch strategy, a merch partner, seems to be everything in the present day.
It's not everything, but it's definitely easy money for the bands. Yeah, it's money without having to record and write and tour. When you work with us anyway.
Let's talk about some of the collaborations. I mean, I see collaborations with the likes of Circle Jerks and Dinosaur Jr., Devo, DJ Lance, David Yao, a celebrated former Chicagoan, David Yao. How did you get into these trusted partnerships with all these really cool artists?
We started as a video production and company and a record label, and just through, I don't know, years of working in the industry, we made some relationships, and we published a few books for the comic artist Brian Walsby, and he had a lot of connections with kind of 80s hardcore royalty and kind of hard nuts to crack, so to speak. And I don't know, he worked at a grocery store and he hated it. And I was like, why don't you, he had all this notoriety as an artist, a visual artist, and I don't think he realized that. So he was close friends with Buzz from the Melvins. So one day we were at coffee, and that's what I did when I was in my 20s. I just drank coffee till noon, and then I worked. But no, I asked him to ask Buzz from Melvins if they wanted to do a shirt, just so I could prove that he could make some money from his art. And they were close friends, so Buzz agreed, even though we had done a couple CDs with the Melvins that went with Brian's books. So we had a sort of a relationship there. But we did the shirt, and a month later I handed Brian a check, for over $1,000, and he was just like, wow. So the first probably 20 shirts we did with Brian, and just bands that knew of him, and people got paid quickly. And a lot of their friends were in bands, so they told them that we paid quickly and that we made quality stuff. And it's kind of an artsy fartsy limited thing too. So you're not going to find these shirts at Hot Topic. There's, if you don't get it when we have it, you just have to wait for the next one, which is kind of cool.
That kind of small batch collectible mentality. Yeah. I get it. I love it.
We're not charging an arm and a leg for them like we could. We keep the prices under $30 for most of them. So people like that. I mean, I guess it just snowballed. Like one band leads to another, and then you're working with Devo somehow. Or, we have a shirt coming out next week for Biz Markie. We're working with his wife. So it's like, okay, sure. I would have never thought it would have gotten to this point, but I'm not complaining. It's fun.
And as a side note, I think I go down a Devo rabbit hole about once a year. I was listening to Smart Patrol and Mr. DNA like 2 days ago, and I hope at some point the rest of the universe recognizes just how ahead of their time they still are.
Yeah.
No one sounds like Devo.
Yeah, I don't think they're starving or anything.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. They're like the Beatles for freaks, you know, like they're kind of like one of those bands that everybody likes, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, just when people hear them, they like them, you know. They're one of those bands.
Can you show us some of your shirts? Like, do you mind holding them up to the camera?
No. Yeah, I'll show you some shirts. I just happen to
Walk
have
us
some
through.
here
All right.
in a big pile. All right, most of these are kind of newer things. This is the Melvins.
Lord of the
Lord
Flies
of
with
the
a giant
Flies.
fly. That's that 3/4, that baseball jersey looking
Yep,
style.
that's by Thomas Hazelmeyer of
That's awesome.
Amphetamine Reptile Records fame. Let's see. All right.
And that's cool. So that's for people just listening.
Much.
For people just listening, that it's that bold kind of fluorescent green color, and it's black and white. That's a striking look on that
Well, that's
Melvin
kind
shirt.
of he does all this stuff with Thomas Hazelmeyer does all these with linoleum. So he engraves the design, a negative, into linoleum, and then puts the ink on there and presses. So all his designs are done that way.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, he's pretty badass artist. This one is by the kind of a famous rock photographer Ron Spencer, who took most of the famous pictures of the Germs, and that's Germs, and that's a Ron Spencer photo. And Ron, can you see it? Okay.
Yes. Hey, what I like about that, it looks almost like one of those old iron-on transfer T-shirts.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, so that one came about because Chris Sherry drew one of his photos, and he was so cool. I had no idea that Chris had drawn. I didn't know. Like it was a while ago, and Ron posted the shirt, even though it was his photograph. We referenced without his permission. He posted the shirt and said, "This thing's badass. You should check it out, even though I'm not getting paid." So I immediately got in touch with him and made sure he got paid, and that led to us doing this shirt with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, he's an awesome dude. He does a pretty amazing radio show too. But okay, next. So this is De Kreutzen from, I think they're from Milwaukee, right? You know, like old
look at
these hardcore band.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
this a redux of their first EP cover by Abe Brennan, and that's pretty awesome. Abe does these really detailed line work. He just sent me the drawing, and I did the color and the type on it. But
Cows and Beer, it's black and red.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this one, we're working with this artist from, I believe she's from Ohio, Columbus, I think. I could be wrong, but check this out. This is Peppermint Ray Gun. That's Mike Watt. She does these amazing just illustrations.
That's amazing.
I think we're gonna start working with her on a bunch of stuff, if she'll have us.
That's amazing.
Like this awesome punk rock woman from Ohio. And the New Bomb Turks got us in touch with her because we've done a lot of shirts with them, and they were like, "You got to check out this artist." So,
and then Mike Watt's shirt is the second Minutemen reference of the evening.
Oh, yep. Well, I have good Mike Watt stories, but that'll have to be the next one. There's the orange you were talking about.
There, oh man, that is.
Can you see
going, gone? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got one of these for this is mine actually.
Yeah, that's a keeper for sure.
No Means No, Wrong cover redux by Chris Sherry.
Oh my God, that's so great.
Yeah, this is one of those ones that we redid. The initial version of this was on red. We sold 500 of them in like 4 days.
I bet.
So like 8 months later, we did this just because.
And these shirts do all the marketing for you. I mean, because people see these and they're thinking, Oh my God, that's the coolest. Where did you get that? How come I've never seen that before? Can't
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah, that's the idea. That hopefully, they're not going to find it. One thing that does suck is I issue about 6 or 7 cease and desists a month because people will just take the designs and do a really shit like rip off.
I've seen that happen. That
They're taking it
sucks.
from an image this big from the website
Right.
and trying to print it.
Oh, that's
So
gross.
don't buy those if you see the bootlegs. This is old college friends of ours started a
Really?
band, and they're real Avett Brothers. They're like a big folk rock
Oh
pop
yeah.
band now. But that's by this is the second Avett Brothers shirt we did.
Everyone likes the Avett Brothers.
This is from a friend of mine, Tyler Wolf. He was in that band Valiant Thor.
Oh yeah.
He was a bass player in Valiant Thor, but he's a pretty badass artist too, and a really old friend of mine. So, and those Avett Brothers guys went to the same little shit college I went to. So,
All right. So what's the colorful one that your arm's resting on right now?
this,
Yeah.
this is DJ Lance Rock.
Yes, DJ Lance, Yo Gabba Gabba.
From Yo Gabba Gabba. Can you see
Yes.
that?
Yes, that's
Okay, good.
that is as colorful and as vibrant as you would expect for a DJ Lance t-shirt.
This is star-studded. It's got Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, Ian Mackay, Keith Morris, bunch of people, Lou Barlow, Jello Biafra, Milo Ackerman from Descendants, Bill from Descendants, John Reese, Hot Snakes, Biz Markie up there.
It's like a modern version of the Some Girls album by the Stones.
Yeah. So yeah, we got permission to use all these folks, and 15% of the profits from this one go to the Biz Markie Just a Friend Foundation, which helps underprivileged kids and stuff. So that's
that one's still available.
Yeah, yes, that's limited to 500. I think we still have 100 left,
Oh,
but
awesome.
we haven't done like the second big round of here. Look at our stuff.
Well, I like the charitable component too. That hopefully will motivate some people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's kind of feels good to do that.
Exactly right. Big Star.
Big
Big
Star.
Star. How many Big Star t-shirts have you seen in your lifetime? I mean, really?
I've only seen the Star one. The you know what? They issue. This is by Brian Walsby, by the way. And Brian met Jody from Big Star when he was touring with the Melvins as their merch guy. And they went to Ardent Studios where Jody works. And Brian gave him a parody drawing he had done. And that led to us being able to do a Big Star t-shirt.
That's super cool.
Yes, that's the way these all work pretty much. It's it's weird. JFA by tattoo artist Aaron Coleman.
That's fantastic. The colors are amazing. It's a red t-shirt.
Let's see what else. Oh, this is Acid Mother's Temple shirt by Jay Holmes of Tokyo by way of Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Super trippy, psychedelic. Looks like it just came off the press in 1973.
Yeah, I think that was the idea. Yeah, that one's pretty awesome.
Like the kids who wear those shirts to school, they've got detention. Oh, that's amazing. These shirts are so cool. Yeah.
They just did a new record. They
just
recorded a new record. This one took forever, and this is one of the ones I was most excited about. It seems like the people that we actually know take the longest to say yes to us. Like the people that we've known forever are like, we'll see. And then they're super picky about the art and everything. But this one is one of my favorites.
Superchunk.
This is by Ron Liberty, who was he's a Chapel Hill like print. I don't know. He's been there forever. He's done Cat's Cradle posters since the 90s when I started going to shows as a teenager.
Wait, hold it up again. It has I can't quite put the era together. It feels very like 1983, maybe. It definitely feels like inspired from a long time ago.
Yeah, all his stuff is like screen prints where he just kind of
Mhm.
like gets in a zone and does whatever. And he makes this was from a poster for a show, and I saw it and I was like, we should. After I think I had
Yes.
tried like 6 different Superchunk ideas, and Mac was like, which is they want it to look like they want to like it, I guess, which is good. So,
Yeah, that's a great
but
one.
then finally I showed him this one, and he was like, I think I just found it on Ron's Instagram page, and I was like, I mocked it up and sent it to Mac before I even asked Ron about it, because we'd already tried some other ones, and he was like, fine. He said, yeah, let's do that one. So I was really excited about that one because they're one of my favorite bands. They're one of the first bands I ever saw when I was a kid too. So
And that leaves a mark.
yeah. And then another Thomas Hazelmeyer,
Mudhoney.
cut.
I
Uh,
love and the logo is so animated and fun. And this looks like a gig poster for sure.
yeah. Um, we're gonna start doing skateboards, and this is one I might want to try to bug them
Yeah,
about doing a skateboard on, because it's kind of has that vibe to it.
for sure. So the economics, this reminds me, I mean, it's publicly known. It's 50-50 split with the artist. Everything's very straightforward. It reminds me of when I first became aware of indie labels, when I first became aware of Touch and Go and Steve Albini business ethics. I mean, it's just everything's straightforward, no bullshit, no industry.
Yeah, we don't even do. I mean, we've done a couple contracts, but with licensing companies. But other than that, it's all just trust, and then people get paid before they expect it, which is good. So yeah, nobody's complained yet. That I not to me anyway. People seem stoked on the whole setup. And a lot of bands that have exclusive licensing deals with other companies will do a shirt with us, uh, because we're only doing, say, 300 of them. And the licensing companies seem okay with it. So it's cool with me.
You
It's
were
fun.
telling me right before we started recording tonight, things really accelerated during the pandemic, which makes sense to me. I mean, I was one of those people who was doing just tons of online commerce. Like I couldn't wait to have things delivered to my door.
Yeah.
It
People were
was like,
bored.
oh, here's a message from the outside world. Well, what's it going to be today? Is it going to be a record? Is it going to be a T-shirt, a book? Like
Well,
that was
people
the
were
mindset.
bored and they
Yeah,
had free money coming at them. So, it was like, I'm going to shop. And, also when, I had a real job, I ran an ad agency for up until like 5 years ago. And when I left that, I looked for jobs for a little while, and then I discovered Facebook ads,
hmm
which is weird. I discovered that you could target back then. You can't now, but you could say, I want people who like the Minutemen to see my ad. I want, and I figured out that I could target like the tiniest little indie
yeah.
thrash band, and the people who liked that band would see the ad. It's not like that anymore. But when I figured that out, I was like, well, maybe I could make a living, like a real living, not like a college student living, but like a real living as an adult with kids and stuff, and a mortgage. Maybe I could make a living at this. And at the time, I was only working with Brian Walsby. This is like 5 years ago. So that's when I decided to start like going through my record collection and seeing who did the artwork for the bands, and started forming relationships with the visual artists, rather than just the bands. And that's when it really took off. Now, during the pandemic, um, I had a lot more time to work because I wasn't doing anything social. I wasn't traveling. So I
hmm
just started putting, 40, 50 hours a week into it. And that combined with the fact that people were bored and shopping online, and bands needed extra revenue because they weren't touring. So everybody was quick to work with us all of a sudden. Bands were before, $2,000 might not have been worth even talking to me about. All of a sudden they were like, all right, that's $2,000. So it's like it just became easier to do everything. And then people just started buying lots of stuff. And I expected it to slow down, but it's still crazy at this point.
Well, and for music fans, myself included, the ability to help an artist and have a keepsake souvenir from helping out, that's awesome. Whether it's, contributing to Bandcamp Day or buying a T-shirt from Bifocal, I mean, you're helping the artist, and there's something that feels really great about it, knowing, okay, I can't go to shows right now, or I couldn't go to shows then. Here's just a minor thing I can do to contribute to the overall cause.
Yeah, that, and I think people like a limited edition item, like, I mean, I'd be a lot quicker to pull the trigger on a Dead Milkman shirt if I knew there was only 100 of them or 150 of them, or a Melvins shirt. We've done a few where we only did 150, and they typically sell out in a day or two, because people want one, and they know they're not going to be around in a week. So it's it's fun, because when you make film, I worked in that industry for most of my life as an adult. You have a project, and it takes sometimes years to get it done, and then you get that feeling of accomplishment, and you get that high of artistic whatever. Like with the shirts, these are all projects that start with an idea and contacting the band, and then there's all this collaboration between me and if I'm not the designer of the shirt and the illustrator and the band and all the members of the band and sometimes the managers. So you have all these big projects that have all these separate elements similar to film, but they're done in, like, I can get a shirt done in a week sometimes. And then it's just like, boom, I'm on to the next. Whereas with film, it takes a year to get that feeling. With this, it's like, it's just you get a lot of quick feedback from people. You get to make some art, and we used to put out a lot of records too, and that takes forever, and
even longer now.
Yeah, way longer now, and way more expensive now.
Speaking of filmmaking, video, your roots, I'm still waiting and still kind of expecting something of a music video renaissance to happen. I kind of thought it would happen when the pandemic started, as bands couldn't tour and get out there, just as a way to get their visions out into the universe. Do you think having a video strategy is a good move for artists moving forward? I mean, it's a rhetorical question, but I think the answer is yes, right?
Yeah, especially if you can come up with something good and unique. I mean, there's a lot of bands that just made weird, kooky videos, and that's what made the band. Especially now with social media and whatever the kids are looking at.
Whatever the kids are looking at. Thinking about the limitedness of what you're doing, as we're recording this on the 24th of February, it was a couple days ago, you did a limited, totally badass Agent Orange shirt, limited to 300. Are those gone as we're talking?
I think there's they will be gone. Here's typically I think I have 50 left, but I haven't really, we do the initial push where we tell everybody what we've got and the band posts it. And then when the shirt comes in, I usually take a real picture of it instead of a mock-up, which is on the website. And then the band posts that real picture, and that usually finishes them off for a band like Agent Orange. That's the Chris Sherry design. We actually did that design on a different color years ago, and it sold out in 3 or 4 days. So if the band posts, that's where 90% of our promotion comes from, is from the bands. Typically if a band like that does a post on Facebook, the shirt will sell out quickly.
Well, and from just watching sales and response online, which designs really pop, which designs really react. Is there the temptation, or have you brought designs back into circulation based on overwhelming demand, or just a gut feeling like, we got to do this again?
Yeah, but we always change them so that whoever got the first batch of them still has a unique product or whatever. I think we've done it for probably 20 different designs. We've done that, but we change it. We would never just bring back the same thing. Sometimes we'll do it. Lately we've been doing these baseball tees with the 3/4 sleeves. Yeah. And those are, something different. Or we'll do a hoodie. Just to, if we bring something back. But no, we'd never do the same exact thing again, because we could just do something new.
It's like vinyl. Second pressing is different color. You might have a splatter vinyl pressing for
Right.
the second run, or the limited purple version for the third. So everyone, they have the same thing, but it's their own special
Yeah.
limited.
Well, and usually we don't do it unless, like, if I get 40 emails from people begging me to repress a shirt, I'm probably going to do it, on a different color. So most of the time we do less the second time, but people are happy when they come back because they seem to do just as well the second time around if we do a different color. So, but we haven't done that with too many of them. Just the ones where people didn't maybe get it. The ones that sell out in like 3 or 4 days, we do those sometimes.
So will the Descendants X-Men have another go around?
Nope, that's done.
Done?
Yeah, we're just not doing any more parodies. Like, we're just kind of over the parody thing. And that one was a parody. So if we do something, the thing with them is they don't need us. They're just being nice to us by letting us do the shirts with them, because we have mutual friends, and they have a huge amount of respect for Brian Walsby, it seems, and his art. So usually when he proposed, we've got an all shirt that's still up that has all 3 of the singers from that band's past, or it's the same band without Milo singing. But yeah, we're not reissuing any of the parodies.
All right, along the lines of Descendants, were they the first pop punk band?
I don't know. Were they? I think the Buzzcocks were around before Descendants.
That's
You could argue that the Sex Pistols were pop punk, really, I guess.
You could probably argue the same thing for
all
Ramones.
That English stuff is pretty darn bouncy. It's all kind of pop punk to me.
All right. So as you're in the office. We're recording this late on a Thursday night. I am keeping you over time, and I apologize for that. But as you're sitting there in the office, what are you working on? Can you tell us anything that's coming next, so that we should keep our eyes out for?
I was working on actually that Biz Markie shirt. Let me see if I can. I don't want to waste your time.
Not at all.
But let's see if I can find a picture of it. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll get crazy and I'll take a picture of it with my phone and then show you the picture of that I took with my phone. It's recycled. Let's see.
Here we are on this digital platform communicating, and you're going to take a picture of your computer and share it over this digital communication.
I don't know.
Surely there's another way.
I don't have it on my phone yet. So here, this is a terrible picture, but here you'll get the idea. Oh, that's terrible. Well, here you go. This is top secret. You ready?
I'm ready.
So this can you even see it?
Oh yes. Oh, that's amazing. That's Biz Markie.
It's Chris Sherry digital drawing, and I don't know if you're familiar with Chris, but he's kind of like everybody in Southern California knows Chris Sherry if you're in a band, especially if you're in a pop or in a punk band, you know Chris Sherry. But he's the guy who does all the Descendants work. He's their official artist. But so he's also like a drama teacher, I think.
The Biz shirt looks awesome. I love the business model. I love the fact that it's ethical in dealing with the artists. I love the exclusivity and the uniqueness of each release. And it's just, you tapped into something cool. I mean, making film, I'm sure, is awesome. I mean, I know you have some history in the Midwest working on the Braid documentary back in the day. But I love this whole thing you're doing. It's super cool. Keep doing what you do. So the website again is bifocalmedia.com.
That's it. Yep.
Right on. Charles Cardello, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.